Hello all and welcome to Duplicate Success International Monday Night Webinar. Today is Monday, September 25th. My name is Randy Crebs, Executive Goal Director from Salt Lake City, Utah. I have the distinct honor of introducing the host of tonight's webinar. He is a very well-respected business leader and mentor in this industry. You'll definitely want to have your pen and paper out, sitting up, paying attention, and taking notes as you learn how this industry expert continues to build his business successfully. He has achieved the rank of Emerald Director within our company. He is the co-founder of Duplicate Success International. He is an amazing leader, mentor, and most importantly, I'm very proud to call him my son. Jared, are you on the line? Jared, are you on the line?
Oh my gosh, I was on mute. I'm like, thank you so much for the great introduction, Dad. I'm super excited for the webinar.
Hello,
and
Jared.
No one heard me.
No, you did good. No problem. And here's Jared.
All right. Well, I'm sure we can edit that out. I am super excited for this webinar. We have a great training. Thank you so much, Dad, for the amazing introduction. I want to acknowledge everyone that's on this webinar, everyone who's watching the recording as well. You are the best of the best in USANA. You are definitely the best of the best on Team DSI. I want to welcome the people that are watching this for the first time as well, as I know we have several. And The training tonight is very near and dear to my heart. Number one, because of the person giving it, Brion Armstrong, the U.S. Manager of Field Development. But number two, because the information is invaluable to the longevity of your business. And before we get into the training, we always start with recognition and announcements. So let's go ahead and get started first of all with that. And I just want to remind you of our team DMO. This stands for Daily Method of Operation. If you do these three things, you will have success in your business, guaranteed. This is literally the difference, and they're very simple to do. It's easy to do, it's easy not to do. What are they? Number one, be a product of the product. Every day, AM and PM, be using your products. Number two, do your 2-2-2 for the day. Getting 2 new presentation videos out, 2 follow-ups with prospects that are on the fence, 2 calls to existing clients or team members. Doing your 2-2-2 is the engine of your business. And then number 3 is 15 minutes of personal development material each day. That's reading books, listening to audios, or being on webinars like this one. But by doing these 3 things weekly, day in, day out, you get a momentum in your business. And it's awesome to see. Number one, because you're changing people's lives, but number two, because you're making money, you're having fun, and you're following a very simple and duplicatable system. And there are 3 keys to having a breakthrough in your business. Number one is that you have to have a good strategy. And this strategy is proven. Everybody who does the DMO has success in their business. That is why they're having success. The strategy works. Number 2 is the stories that you tell yourself. This is probably what stops a lot of people, or this might be what propels a lot of people to have big success. Every day I tell myself, in the morning with my affirmations, I say, I'm doing the DMO. I am personally sponsoring new associates. I am developing top-tier USANA leaders. And our USANA business is paying all of our bills and much more. And I tell myself that story every single day. I tell myself that story 10 times every morning, 10 times every morning. And what happens? We're full-time USANA, and USANA does pay all our bills and much more, and that's what's so exciting. So please tell yourself that story. If you want to use my story, use it. Make it your own story or make your own. But the stories you tell yourself are critical to your success. Number one is the state that you're in. That's your energy and your state of mind. And that's basically making sure that you're feeling good when you're making your phone calls, when you're doing your 2-2-2, have your energy up. When you're out and about and you're meeting people, have good high energy. When you're on the phone, stand up when you're making phone calls. Walk around. Don't be sitting. All these things make a difference to your state of mind that you're in, your energy. So with those 3 things, you will have a breakthrough in your business. It's just a matter of time and staying consistent and being persistent. And that's what it's all about. I want to acknowledge everybody who's doing that, and we're going to recognize them right now because you can. How can you tell? Because they're getting results. So first of all, let's welcome our new clients that have started in the last week. Big welcome to Delia Trinidad Davis, new client introduced by Denise Garcia. Welcome, Delia, and big congratulations, Denise. Also, shout out to Denise Garcia for making 11 paychecks in a row. Denise, you are killing it. Super proud of you. You're definitely an example of someone that's following the strategy and staying in state. And also welcome, I didn't change the name here, but this is Denise's other client. I'm so sorry, Denise. I forget his name. I messed up on the slide. We'll make sure we get his name in there on the next week's webinar. But way to go on enrolling 2 new clients this week, Denise. Also welcome Ashley Cuevas, new client introduced by myself and my wife, Crystal. Also welcome Jennifer Garza, new client introduced by myself and my wife, Crystal. And welcome Erica De Jesus, new client introduced by myself and my wife. And I messed up her name as well. Wow. Sorry, guys. Got to pay more attention when I'm doing these slides. But definitely excited for you all to be on the products. And now let's recognize our new associates that have started within the last week, and that is Christina Ferris, who was introduced to USANA by Lorena Galdiano and myself and my wife. I want to give a big shout out to Lorena Galdiano, though, because she hosted a booth at Tesoro, which was where she used to work. And when she hosted that booth, we met Christina among many hundreds of other people. Christina became a client, and then later on, now she's upgraded into being an associate. So big congratulations to you, Christina, on becoming an associate and starting a USANA business. I declare that you get your products paid for and help a lot of people in the process. Big congratulations to you as well, Lorena. Thank you for taking action and getting USANA into new people's lives. And you do that by doing booths, by getting out there and doing whatever it takes to get out into public and make a difference for people. So big congratulations to you, Lorena. All right, so let's move on to special recognition. I want to give a big shout out to Denise Garcia for making actually 12 checks in a row because she made one this week already. We're going to start recognizing people for making paychecks in a row, because when you can do that, you are actually building a consistent income source, and you get used to it. And when you're getting paid regularly, it makes a huge difference because your products are paying for themselves. You're making a difference in people's lives. You're doing the DMO consistently. And that is what makes this thing go. So we're going to continue to recognize people probably as they get 10 paychecks in a row, we'll recognize it. And then when they get 20 and then they get 30 and 40 and so on, every 10. But they can't miss a check either. This is a game of consistency. So I want to encourage you who are on the webinar to make that a goal, to make a check every single week and to never miss a week. Even if you have to do something to generate a sale at the last minute, do something to keep your business paying you, keep your head in the game. Big congratulations to you, Denise, on doing that. Also, we want to recognize Renee and Megan Martinez for making 56 paychecks in a row. This is next level. When you're making paychecks basically for over a year, week after week after week after week, you're on the verge of replacing your income. And that's exactly what Renee and Megan Martinez are doing. Renee and Megan, thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you so much for your consistency, your diligence, and making a difference in people's lives. We're super proud of you and want to hear some words from you at the end of the webinar as well. Thank you, Renee and Megan. Also, thank you, team, for your support. We were number 25 top earning emeralds in the U.S. We couldn't do it without you, so we really appreciate you and everything that you do in your businesses. Special announcements. Okay, so remember, any associate that you enroll in the first 90 days will be eligible for a bonus of 25% on whatever they make. So, for example, if you help a new associate make $1,000 in their first 90 days, they would get an extra $250 commission check bonus. So whatever they make, heck, if they went crazy and made $10,000, well, then they would be a $2,500 bonus. So you can do the math, but this is all about getting your new person paid. How do you get your new person paid? Home events. You get things happening, get them taking action, and you will get them paid. Also, of course, three-way calls, all of those things. But let's give some recognition to Brenna O'Reilly, who's qualifying right now for her 25% bonus, and also to Christina Ferris, who's also qualifying now for her 25% bonus. So big congratulations, you two, and let's continue to enroll as many people as we can by the November deadline. Also, for the 2018 International Convention, the ticket price is discounted at $249 until this Friday, September 30th. As you know, convention is the most important event of the year, and you know, we're going to be back at the Vivint Home Solutions Arena, where the big convention happens, where it's actually a basketball arena where the Utah Jazz play. But this is the most important event of the year. And if you don't have your ticket already, I want to highly encourage you to go ahead and get your ticket by this Friday or before for the $249 price, because after that it goes up to $279, and the tickets can just continue to go up. I know this is buying in a year advance, but really when you have your ticket, something changes. You get to say, hey, I'm registered, and your associates will follow because you are registered. So I want to really recommend that you do that by this Friday to take advantage of the price. There's also 10-pack tickets available. So if any of you want to get together a group of 10 associates, either in your downline or with other cross-line associates, if you get 10 associates together and everybody pitches in $200, well, then you just saved yourself $50. You also have till Friday, September 30th to do that if you want to get a 10-pack. You know, that's another option for you. So either way, I highly recommend y'all take action on your convention tickets if you haven't already, and let your team know. The GoPro and Wincentive is going on as well, and this is our team contest that's going on through October 27th. I can't believe we only have about 5 weeks left now. But right now, what this is all about is our big event that's coming up in November, and that's GoPro Recruiting Mastery, November 16th through the 18th. And what this event is basically your chance to learn from industry experts. They don't even allow people on stage unless they're making 6 figures per month. Not 6 figures a year, 6 figures a month. In addition to all the network marketing experts that you'll hear from over 3 days, you also get to hear from Eric Worre, Mr. GoPro himself, who's pictured in the middle. Also, Tony Robbins, the world famous motivational speaker. And Pitbull is a special guest, and he's a world famous entrepreneur, not just a musician. I'm sure he's going to perform some of his music, but you're going to learn a lot from mindset and how to really make things happen in life from Pitbull and everybody that's at this event. This event is $400 to go to. This is the most expensive event of the year, but you get what you pay for. I mean, there's high value in this. So to help you get to this event, we're doing a contest. And right now we have first place Phyllis Walker, 44 points. Second place Carlos Gomez and Jared Harris are tied at 37. And then we have a lot of people that are very close as well. That's 5 weeks into it, though. So we have 5 more weeks, and it's really anybody's game. Now, what's the prizes? So you get, oh, by the way, you get points by doing the things listed here: making your binder, registering for the event, doing a rank advancement, turning in your weekly action plan, enrolling new people on auto order, etc., etc. But the prizes are right here. $400 cash first place. That would pay for your GoPro ticket, or that would pay for your plane ticket, however you want. Second place would be $250 cash, and third place is $150 cash. So it's awesome. It's a way that you can supplement, or supplement your investment in going to the GoPro event and have fun doing the things that it takes to build your business at the same time. But wait, there's even more. For the top, actually that's top 8, not top 7. For the top 8 people that score the highest in this contest, you are going to get a half-hour training session, private, one-on-one session with one of these top Golden Above leaders. That's invaluable. To imagine being able to pick the brain of Executive 1-Star Diamond Leanne Jacobs, or Foundation Executive Diamond Brian Douglas, or Gold Director Marshall Manley, Pamela Pearson, Eric Martindale, Josie Tong, Diamond Director, or Krista Realba, Diamond Director. We also have the 8th person that we got confirmed on this is Brian Penrod, 5-star Diamond. So literally the top 8 people get a 30-minute one-on-one personal coaching call. So I want to encourage you to stay on it, stay focused, because you could be one of the people that get this. This is probably worth more almost than the finances that you could win if you can take some of these things and apply them and learn them, which I know you will. Okay, so let the games begin. We are 5 weeks in. We have 5 weeks left. All right, now before we get to the training, we have a few more things to go over. When you make when you enroll a new associate, please add them to the USANA clients page. add them right here, make the post right there, and make them feel special and important. Add a picture. You guys are amazing at doing that every week. Thank you for commenting and supporting all the new clients that get started. Also, when you enroll a new associate, please make sure you add them to the Team DSI group in Facebook. You add them right here. You make a post right there. Make them feel special and important. It's very, very important to build that team culture with our Facebook groups. Thank you for commenting. You are so amazing at commenting. Every time we have a new associate or client, they just get so many welcomes and comments. And thank you for continuing to do that even if they're not on your team. It makes a huge, huge difference and creates a real community. And finally, before we get into the training tonight, most of you know, but not all of you know. So, and I'm sorry that for those of you who don't know already that we weren't able to call everyone personally. But last week, my mom, Viola, my beautiful mom here, she got diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer. And our whole world was rocked, obviously. You never expect that, especially from your mom. Last Friday, she started having some symptoms, and by Saturday, we kind of knew what it was. It was officially diagnosed this past Monday. The good news is the cancer has not spread to her liver. It hasn't spread to her lungs. It hasn't gotten into the major organs. So it's stage 3, not stage 4. It's also very treatable. So we've met with the doctors, and 100% of the people who go through the chemo and the surgery complete the chemo and surgery. They survive it. They get past it. And 30% of those people never have the cancer come back. And I know my mom will be in the 30% that stays cancer-free once she gets through this chemo and surgery. And, Mom, thank you so much for being strong. Thank you so much for staying positive. We love you so much. Everybody on this team loves you so much. We were all shocked and, obviously heartbroken. But you know what? You're getting better. And we know that. And it's exciting. You had your first chemo today. You did so great. I'm so proud of you. And this is going to be a great story too. And obviously, Mom is taking all of her supplements during her chemo and radiation and things like that. And USANA is not a cure. She still has to do chemo and surgery, not radiation. But I also just want to give a big shout out to all the support that's been around her, specifically my dad. Randy has just been such a rock, been so amazing with this whole process. My wife, Crystal, we were able to fly out here the next day. We flew out Sunday, and we couldn't have done that with our USANA business, without our USANA business. We're getting comments here from Jared Harris. We love you, Viola. Lillian Galdiano, love you, Viola. Adriana Perez, yes, we do. Hope you get well soon. This is actually a picture of chemo today. This is my mom at chemo today. She's got her little USANA shake. She's got her vitamins. Crystal is here with me, and she was actually, Crystal's been through this, right? Crystal's a stage 4 cervical cancer survivor. Crystal's been there, done that. So having Crystal, at chemo today with my mom was just invaluable. It's just so cool to be able to be here for my mom right now. And thankful that our USANA business allows that. And that's really all of you, because of you who stay on your auto order, who continue to help others. That is our business. Without you, we could not be here for our mom. And so thank you for your consistency and your loyalty to your USANA businesses. So these are just a few pictures of chemo today. This is Crystal plugging in I guess this is like the chemo holder machine type of thing. Because when they go to the bathroom, they stay connected to the chemo thing. So, but regardless, Mom, I know this has been a challenging time for our family, but we love you, and we see you healthy, 100%, already healed, and thank you for being such a great mom. We love you. And if you want to do anything to support my mom, send her private Facebook messages. Send her love. Flood her inbox with love and private, positive Facebook messages. And if you want to send flowers or anything like that, whatever you want to do, but mostly Facebook messages. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we're going to take a 5-second pause for editing, and I think I need to stop the screen share. Someone was drawing on the webinar, so we need to. I'm going to stop the screen share. Give me 1 second.
No, thank you, Jared, for all your help here this past week. It's been a whirlwind, but like you say, together we are definitely going to get through it all and get Viola back definitely in the best health.
That's right. That's right.
You've been awesome. Jared has been on the phone with a lot of people. Dr. Ladd McNamara, we've had him on the phone. Sonaviv, just a whole barrage of specialists that to get the ideas to get the best in Viola as she progresses through chemo.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dad. Thank you for the acknowledgement. I really, really appreciate it. And, I'm so honored that I got to be here at this time and be here for you and Mom. And I will continue to do so. And thank you, though, for the acknowledgement. All right. So we have a great, great training ready for you guys. I hope you're ready to take notes. I hope you're sitting up, paying attention. Actually, let's take a 5-second pause so we can have a clean break in this webinar. Hello, my name is Jared Crebs. I'm pictured here with my wife, Crystal, and we are Emerald Directors, co-founders of Team DSI. I hope you are sitting up, paying attention, ready to take notes, because you are about to learn from one of the experts in USANA on business owner balance, and that his name is Mr. Brion Armstrong. He is the manager of United States Field Development. He has literally traveled the entire United States working with the best USANA associates all around the US, and he has tips for you tonight that is going to make your business much more pleasant, much more easy and smooth. And it all has to do with the strategies for business owner balance. And I don't want to take any more of his thunder, but just to thank him. Thank you, Brion, for being such a great person in our lives. Thank you for being a personal mentor to me and teaching these things and that have helped me so that I don't get burned out, instead of helped me be a successful USANA associate full-time for many, many years. I appreciate you and love you, brother. Thank you for everything you do for our team. And take it away. Let's go ahead and share. Oops. Let's go ahead and share your webcam.
There we go. Hi, everybody.
Hello, Brion. Thank you for being on the webinar.
I appreciate it. I send my love and my prayers to your mom. She's somebody I've known your family now for what, about 8 years?
Yep.
7 or 8 years at this point. And I appreciate you being able to fly out here and be with her. I'm sure that gives her a lot of strength.
Thank you.
Everybody, I wanted to thank you for joining us tonight. The reason why we call this business owner balance instead of entrepreneur balance is I really want to focus you down to something, that you own this business. Whether you own a brick and mortar store where you're receiving inventory you're taking in, you're working with your guests as they come in, or whether you own a grocery store, a retail shop, at the end of the day, somebody owns the business. And I have dear friends who have run restaurants, and for the first 5 years, I've actually seen them live in the restaurant. They spend 16 to 20-hour days at that place. And balance isn't really something that they experience. And one of the unique things about this particular industry is that you can actually have that balance. This is meant to be grown in those intentional corners of your life. We always say it's in that pastime, in that part-time, but it's an intentional part-time. It's an intentional pastime. And one thing I do find with business owners, and this is again across the gamut, is how they will just run correctly at something. They want to be intentional. They want to change the world. And so they throw everything they have at it. And as reminds me actually this last week in a conversation with somebody that I mentor, specifically the driver personality will burn themselves to the ground before they admit defeat. But what they don't really get is burning themselves to the ground is actually what is slowing them down. Before we get into this, I want to tell you a little bit of a story about a guy named Al. Really, really good guy. He lived at the turn of the century. And he'd been working on a very specific problem for about a decade. I mean, he'd been going through this. He'd been researching, he'd been studying, been talking to the best minds that he knew and could find around the world to try and figure out the solution to something that he and his colleagues were going through. Could you imagine being in one particular spot for 10 years and not being able to figure out how to get beyond it? I mean, he was obviously dedicated to moving beyond. Now, all of you, I want you to take for a second. First thing comes to your mind, what's an impasse that you're currently at? Because we all have them. Every single one of us has a challenge. Every single one of us has something that's a little bit of a speed bump or something that's slowing us down or taking away from momentum. And I want you to hold on to that as we talk about this. Now, he'd been at that spot for 10 years. Now, got to give him credit. 10 years is a long time to hold on to something without moving on. So he went over to meet his friend Mitchell. His name is Mitchell Beso. And he was up in San Francisco, if I remember correctly. And Mitchell was a fantastic sounding board for him. How many of you have that friend you just go to and you talk to, you just bounce ideas off, and you start to try and see which different ways you can work with it? Now, this is after 10 years of going through this, of having sounding boards, of having brainstorms, of writing ideas down, trying them, seeing how they work, seeing how sometimes they don't. And he went over to Mitchell's house really to kind of have that one last hurrah, just give it everything they had. And after a number of hours, he finally looked at Mitchell and said, you know what? I'm done. It's beyond me. I'm done with it. And they shared a few more minutes with each other, and Al left the house and got on his way home. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have been to San Francisco, but there are a ton of hills, and there are still some streetcars running around the town, and it's kind of fun. And if you've ever been to one, they're kind of fun. You just kind of get on, you sit down, and you just talk to people or you veg out, and that's kind of where Al found himself. Was he really found himself? He had emotionally given away the problem after 10 years. He was really done with it. He was more thinking about what he was going to do when he got to the house and he saw his wife and what was going to be for dinner. And he looked back at the clock tower and he wondered, what would happen if I was traveling at the speed of light? Now, by the way, Al's full name is Albert Einstein. And at that moment, he realized that if he was going at the speed of light, the clock tower would look like it stopped. And within those 30 seconds, he all of a sudden found the answer to something that plagued him for 10 years. We now know it's the theory of relativity. Now, that might not apply to you personally, but in the science world, that literally changed everything. For the last 100 years, we have been playing off of those 30 seconds. He spent the next 6 weeks in a room writing down, trying to prove what he had just seen. And then he spent another 2 weeks in bed because he was exhausted. Don't do that. That's a little bit too much. But it comes down to a very simple principle. Now, how many of you remember that impasse that you're currently at, that block that you're currently at? Now, there's 3 brain states that I want to walk you through. Now, all of us have these things, and we know them by very different names, no matter what group or persuasion you belong to. But I guarantee you're going to hear some things tonight that you've heard before, but hopefully we explain them in a way that you can take hold of and make them functional. Because one of my favorite things to do, especially with business owners, is I hate to waste time. I'm only going to give you things that are functional. I don't do theory very well because it's great to talk about theory, but business owners don't have time in the world to sit down and munch around on things that may or may not be true or could or couldn't. You guys need things that are hard, that are hardcore, that are solid, that have been proven, and that's what I do with you. So let's talk about that tonight. So you and your own impasse. There's 3 brain states that are awake that you're going to deal in. There's alpha. Go ahead and write that one down. Just write a big A. Next one is beta. Go ahead and write that one down. And the last one is gamma. Now, beta is probably the easiest one for all of you to remember because you're in it the majority of the time. And when you're looking at a brainwave state, it's going beta, 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 go, 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 do, fix it, solve it, find it out. Now, this is a relatively active state for your mind. And this is a guarantee where the majority of you are during the day. And usually when we're spending most of this time, it's just fast. We are alert, we're attentive, we're immersed in whatever we're doing, whether that's a challenge or an issue or one of those impasses that we're going on about. And it's productive, but it's also exhausting. And the reason why is because our neurons, the fun little cells in our heads and those connections, are using sodium and potassium ions for these electrical charges going across these barriers and firing. And after several hours of looking at something, doing something, going over something, those sodium and those potassium ions are depleted. And that's when you begin to feel that mind crunch. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever taken another language, but I personally experienced this a while ago where I was learning Spanish. And I remember that I was at a specific school learning Spanish. It was intense. It's all we did for multiple hours a day because I was going to be leaving the country and I had to be functional when I got to the next country. I remember at one point in the day, I actually felt my brain shut off. I'm not sure if you've ever felt this, but it was like somebody flipped a switch and I knew for a fact I was going to remember nothing the rest of that day, and I didn't. But have you ever felt mentally exhausted, whether it's emotional, you just know you're at the end of it, but you're just done, and there's not much more you can throw at it? That's because, in all honesty, you've depleted your brain's resources. You can take caffeine and stay awake, but that's not going to shove more at your brain than it already is done. It's done. It's over. Which leads us to this very important second state of being awake. It's the alpha state. Alpha is much more relaxed. It's easy to compare much more of a meditative state. In fact, meditation is usually the easiest way to get into it. But let me ask you really quick. How many of you had a really, really good idea when you're in the shower? I'm just asking because I guarantee you have. Everybody on here is kind of, yep, yeah. And it's because your brain relaxes. It allows it to come out of that beta state, out of that productivity state, out of that go, shove more sodium, potassium ions out, let's figure this out state. And this is a very important state for your mind to be in. Now, people who are continuously in beta don't always solve the problems. Those people who are continuously in alpha, you know who they are, don't also solve their impasses. But it's important to have a balance between the two. And so those who go to that meditative state on a daily basis, planned and intentionally, you're going to find something that's very interesting that happens to them because it allows your brain to start to replenish those potassium and sodium ions. It starts to replenish your ability to make connections. Now, here's the fun part about that alpha state that we don't normally talk about. Your brain has this amazing ability to start congealing ideas without you actually being present for the process. Now, I don't mean some foo-foo, everything's coming together because it just sort of happens. No, your brain is continuously looking for signals and pathways. Your brain actually does this normally because it's how we've developed as a species. It actually loves looking for new patterns. It loves looking for new and important ways to do things. Because when you get it, you get that aha moment, that light up moment, that moment that makes you go, I get it. Now, how many of you have ever had that moment where you go, yes, that's it? That's what we call a gamma spike, and that's the third brain state that I want to bring to your attention. The gamma spike is very interesting because if you look at it on the graphs, it starts back here and just shoves it way forward and backward. And when it happens, in under a third of a second, a new constellation of neurons are created, new pathways, because it starts to connect ideas. And the majority of this time, when it happens when you're in alpha, not in beta. That doesn't mean that you can't have good ideas when you're beta. It doesn't mean that you don't even have some breakthroughs when you're in beta. The purpose of beta, the purpose of go, fix, do is simply this. Collect all the data, do your homework, figure things out, and then you walk away from it intentionally, purposely, you walk away from it. Because number one, it allows your brain to reset, allows it to go back to its amazing default state where you can be rejuvenated and renewed. And while you're not looking at it, it's actually compiling data, organizing it, trying to find new ways to make sense of it. That's why when you go to that shower, those of you who go on runs or you're in the car and all of a sudden your brain snaps to something, that is actually how it happened. The part of your brain that's compiling things, looking for those things, is actually giving you that new idea. Now, it can be like Einstein, where once you have that idea, you stop and you start writing it down and you take the next X amount of time to really expand upon it now that you've found your solution. Now, here's the question. How can you get to this in a regular way? Now, how many of you are go, do, fix on a regular basis? The minute you wake up, whether it's intentional, unintentional, you hit the ground running and you're going until you get back to the bed. Quite a few of us are that way. Because the minute that we get up and we slatch into beta, we lock into that, our brain is automatically on a gas tank. And it's going to go down and go down, which is good. It means you're being productive. Now, the one thing I find with entrepreneurs, especially business owners, is that they really sincerely feel that if they are not doing something productive, they are not being productive. Now, raise your hand if that makes sense. Yeah, you. Yeah, okay. Everybody here, great. And now raise your hand if your tongue is at the top of your mouth. Everybody just raise your hand. Now your tongue's at the bottom of your mouth. Let it go back up to the top. Yes, that's the normal place for it to be. But here's the reasoning why. If you don't do this, you're actually robbing yourself of productivity. Your brain, this amazing, amazing machine that has come together over centuries and centuries and eons, has the ability to process information faster than any computer on the planet. There is no computer yet that's been able to catch up to our brain. So mind you, our ability to cognitively process it, still not quite there. But the reason why you can put together these amazing patterns that nobody else can see is because your brain knows how to do it. It doesn't necessarily need your help. What it does need is that beta state to go away for a planned and intentional amount of time. Whether that's you taking a walk for 20 minutes at the end of the day, whether that's you taking that shower but literally shutting off the radio, shutting off the iTunes cast, whatever that is, shutting off the electronics. Because what do electronics do? Electronics, anger, stress, what we call alpha blockers. They keep you in a beta state. They keep you in an awake state that is going to keep you in go, 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 do, do, do. All electronics. That is the purpose actually of electronics. They're meant to be disruptive. That's actually what phones always were. That's why it rings. It stops you from what you're doing. It disrupts what you're doing so you can go and look at it. Notifications. They're meant to disrupt your flow so that you can look at something else. Televisions, they're moving picture boxes. They distract you from everything else in the room. Our brains are hardwired to look at the glowy object in the room and any kind of change in it, because glowy objects like the sun or like predators' eyes in the middle of the night signal something is happening. And if we get caught up in it, our brain moves away from those things. So to get back to that gamma spike, to get back to that inspiration point, to get back to that creativity on a much more regular basis, here's what you have to do. You guys ready? You have to be in beta. Congratulations. You have to do your work. You have to actually go out there and do something. This is why when people say that they're building their business, but they want to read all these books first, I just start laughing to myself. I'm like, okay, you go read those books and I'll come back in a year and I'll go find somebody who's building their business now and we'll work a few hours a week and see how much farther that person gets than the person who is reading. The reason being is the person who is working is going to have far more gamma spikes, far more inspiration, and far more active and functional inspiration than somebody who is simply reading, trying to figure it out before they do it. Now, how many of you have been there? How many of you just got that knot in your stomach like, oh my gosh, I have to go out and do something? It's okay, you don't have to raise your hand. But here's the secret behind building a business. It is functional. It is going out there and doing it. Because those meditative exercises that we do, whether it's meditation, whether it's surfing, whether it's running, whether it's taking the time, that meditation time, whatever you do to draw yourself away from that beta state, to remove that stress, to actually do something else. For some of us, it's cooking. For some of us, it's hiking. For some people, it's walking. It's whatever you choose it to be, and you're intentional about it. What you're allowing yourself to do is to have those gamma spikes. That doesn't mean you have a gamma spike every time you do these things. No. Doesn't mean that every time you have a gamma spike, you're in alpha. No. But you're allowing your brain to replenish its resources so that you can have them. Without this, you can't. Coming from somebody who is absolutely born and bred driver, who is the person who actually said, I'd rather burn out than admit defeat. That came from me. And it caused the people in the room to laugh because they all know I've gone through burnout and dug my way out of it. And the way that it happens, and let me tell you, your happiness goes up. It sincerely does. The creative ideas. How many of you like to feel inspired more often? Now, mind you, inspiration isn't something that lasts forever. Determination, motivation, and are all, quite frankly, based on what you do regularly, consistently. But if you do want that inspiration, if you do really want those best ideas, this is how you get it. You go into beta. You do some research. You go out and you act on it. You figure it out. You find out where you're making mistakes. You find out where it's working. And then each day, intentionally, we're not talking when you go to sleep. We're talking while you're awake. You go to an alpha state. Again, whether that's you taking the 20-minute walk, whether that's you exercising, whether that's you running. This is why people who say they exercise get the best ideas when they're exercising, because they're in a completely different beta state. They're not in beta, they're back to alpha. That's the amazing part about this. And then you're going to start to see those gamma spikes more often. So you got to work for it. You got to rest so your mind can build it back up. But here's that third principle. Here's the trick with gamma. Once you get it, once you have that gamma spike, you have to write it down. You have to find a way to save it. Because the trick behind gamma that we're actually seeing today in all the studies is if you tactilely write it down, you remember it. And if you actually explore it deeper by writing it with a pen and pencil, paper, whatever, you actually get a deeper process going versus if you do it on a computer, if you type it out. We're finding those who type it don't necessarily have as deep an experience or have as deep a processing of the inspiration that they just had. Because what writing does, it slows your brain down. Even though you're in beta, it's allowing you to be in a partial state of alpha. Now, for all of you who are out there going, this is new age crazy hooey, good for you. I'm glad that your question. That's a fantastic way to be. The majority of us are in beta 90% of the day or more. 100%. Looking at you, Jared. You've actually gotten a lot better since we brought this up. Every driver I go goes, no. If I'm not doing something, it's not working. Now, on my Facebook page tonight, I'll post a podcast that's from one of my favorite guys. His name is Tim Ferriss. You might have heard of him. He does the 4-Hour Work Week, and it's him just rapping with a couple of his buddies who are ridiculously wealthy. I'll just leave it there, and I'll make you listen to the rest of it. But I want you to hear how they actually talk about this exact same topic without using any of the words that I just used. I want you to hear their routine, their way of doing it, because you're going to find everybody who is intentionally and ridiculously successful has a way of getting to alpha on a regular basis. Those of us who are drivers, those of us who are supporters or analytics, know that, and our promoters will find that success when we have done the work, when we have come back from it and we stepped away from it, we've done something else that we enjoy, that brings us peace, it brings us happiness, puts us back to an alpha state. And then we act on those amazing ideas that we get, and we find ways to keep and act on again and again, replenishing those potassium ions, replenishing the sodium in our brains through it. And again, all while being awake. Being asleep doesn't work. So I hope this has been some wonderful information for you. I'll be posting that podcast a little bit later on my Facebook page tonight. If we're not friends, you'll probably see that in the next, I want to say 10 to 15 minutes. But I'm happy to take your questions if you guys have any.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brian. This has been such a great training. Yes, we do have about 7 minutes for questions before we do our final announcement. I just want to, first of all, say that the main thing I took from this, because obviously I knew a lot of this prior, was I didn't know that writing down my gamma ideas was so critical. And I didn't even know about the gamma. I must have missed that. So I knew I needed to get in alpha, but now I know that when I get a good idea, I need to maybe have a notebook or something to just write down my gamma ideas. And thank you for that. I will say, studying from you for the last, I guess it's been about 5 months, and intentionally going into alpha every morning and intentionally going into alpha every evening has helped me so much from burnout. I can tell you I was burning out. I know I was, and you know I was. But thank you for teaching me this, and thank you for sharing this with the team. It is actually awesome to step away from my phone the last hour of the evening and just be away from my phone. So I guess I just want to open it up for questions from anybody that has them. If you guys have questions on how to get into alpha in the morning or the evening or in the afternoon. Any questions now, please go ahead and raise your hand or unmute yourself or type them. And we can actually go about 10 minutes. We have till 7:55 if people have questions. So who has a question?
Quiet group.
I know, man. Awesome, guys. Just kidding. Someone will have a question.
Just looking through the names here.
There's a question.
Oh, there's a question. This is from Laura Sanchez in San Antonio. What would spacing out fall into?
Alpha.
Alpha.
Absolutely. Daydreaming is full on alpha. as long as it's not chemically induced.
Okay, but what if I'm spacing out on my phone? What if I'm like just reading, ESPN or playing, like Crystal likes to play. What do you like to play? Those little games? What are they called?
It depends. I play little games too.
Like Candy Crush or
We're full beta.
That's so playing games on your phone keeps you in beta. That's not spacing out.
Exactly.
Because it's a screen.
It's a screen. It's light. It's moving. You're figuring stuff out. You're having to react to things very quickly. That's full beta.
That's full beta.
But
okay.
if I'm doing like a crossword puzzle.
If you're doing a crossword puzzle without a screen.
Without a screen, yeah. I mean, that would be what? Alpha? Would that get you into alpha?
So as long as there's not a screen is basically it, right?
The purpose of alpha, it's being relaxed, disengaged. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
But if you go soak in a tub, that's
so it's stream of consciousness, random thinking.
Okay.
Versus intentional thinking. Does that make sense? So soaking in a tub, great. Absolutely.
Awesome. We got a bunch of questions that just came in. You want to just take them?
Yeah, meditation also works. Absolutely. Meditation is a great way to describe it. What was the biggest struggle while building which one of my businesses? The highest paid skill in the world is networking. I mean, I leave that there. Those of you who know how to network, we say network marketing, meaning multi-level marketing to often use them synonymously when they are definitely not the same. Multi-level responds to a compensation plan. Network marketing, everybody networks. Everybody on this earth does. When I did big box retail sales, my job was to set up international relationships. How do you do that without networking? You can't. I'd go to shows, I'd make phone calls, I'd introduce myself, and people would do business with me because I offered a competitive price and they liked me more, to be honest. So if you want to go biggest struggle with building a business, every business has the exact same two problems: finding new customers and keeping the ones you got. Anybody who tells you anything else is selling something. So what are your two main problems? Find new customers and keep the ones you got.
Lillian Galdiano asks at the top there, what's the best way to get into alpha?
That depends on the person. Again, it goes back to that stream of consciousness thinking, that random thought process, whatever does it for you. Now, for our drivers out there who don't exactly know what that means, because everything we do is on purpose, it might mean that you start going for walks and your phone is off.
Going for walks without your phone or your phone off.
With your phone off. I understand in case of emergency having it on you. It might mean going for a run. It might be exercising. Whatever it is that rips you out of the intentional thought process that you have to be doing this right now, otherwise everything else is a waste. That's what it is.
Okay. Oh, and she says, can you explain gamma again as well?
Absolutely. Gamma is this amazing state. It's when your brainwaves actually go off the charts. It's a high functioning, it's a higher order thing. It's all of a sudden your brain is suddenly alive. It's wide awake, and it's an overwhelming rush of insight. Have you guys ever had that before, when you get these fun ideas like, oh, I totally get it now?
Mm-hmm.
It's these high energy waves, they bounce back and forth at your brain at great speeds. And gamma actually originates in the thalamus and moves backwards and forwards in your brain 40 times per second when it actually hits, if you want me to go into the deep of it. And we actually call these things a spike, because every other time you see the brain waves just kind of going and going and going, and all of a sudden you see it go, and it comes back down. And usually beta happens pretty quickly right after it. And within a third of a second, you just have all these neurons that form. It's amazing to actually think about how quickly your brain creates these new connections. And that's when you have this aha moment. It's that inspired problem-solving moment that you've been looking for. Hopefully that makes more sense. The light bulb goes on, exactly.
Awesome. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here. Sally Passain says, where am I when I wake in the middle of the night with a fabulous idea and write it down?
Alpha.
What state?
What state? Uh-oh, Brian, I think we lost you. Or it's me.
Alpha. Did you guys hear me?
Shoot.
Maybe. I can type it. Alpha. Did you guys lose me or am I still here? I see the little green box around me, so I'm hoping I'm talking. Can you hear me now? Nope, you hear me. So it looks like we lost you. Looks like we lost Jared. All right, let me scroll back up. Light bulb moment. One new message. Yep, you hear me. Great. Wonderful. So we went over that. Meditation. Meditation is nice because for those of you who aren't aware what meditation is, or it's too slow or too foo-foo for you, meditation actually doesn't necessarily mean being completely void of thought. Very few people can actually get there, to be honest with you. It's actually letting the thoughts come and go. And there's a lot of great apps out there that can help you with it. All right. Yes, Aljon, yes, I do all the time. Yes, every time I write down something I remember versus typing or just saying it. Absolutely. Mind racing, leg jittery. I love it. All right. All right, so gamma spiking is where we want to get to. So again, you mentioned brain shut off when you've depleted of sodium and potassium ions. Now, it doesn't matter if you still have sodium and potassium in your body. Your brain isn't going to get more than when you're depleted. You actually have to rest. To give you an easy example, a real easy one. How many of you ever filled up your car full of gas? Did it today. How many of you tried to ever fill up your car full of gas while going 60 miles an hour? Probably none of you. So that's what we're talking about when you actually have to stop. You stop to fill up the gas. Even those amazing high-flying airplanes that fill up on the go aren't going like bats out of creation while they're trying to connect with the refuel plane. They're actually matching a much slower pace to refuel. When people have negative energy, what state are they in? Beta. Full on beta. If you think negative energy, what are the words that you associate with negative energy? Go ahead and put this in the comments. I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are. When you hear negative energy, describe the word. Just in one word, just throw it out there. What are they? Throw it out. Come on. Let me go ahead and throw out one word. If you meet somebody who's like, oh, they're negative. What is the actual emotion that person is feeling? They're not feeling negative. Angry, absolutely. High beta activity. Blaming, absolutely, because they're trying to problem solve. Messed up, sad. Their mind is going. Absolutely. It's full-blown beta. Great answers. Absolutely. Vampire. Well, vampires are definitely on the hunt, and when you're hunting, you're definitely in beta. Fear. Absolutely. That's high adrenaline. Firing. Worry. High beta state. Because when you're worrying, you're trying to figure something out. You're trying to figure this way through it. You're looking at these different branches. Your mind's going 1,000 miles a second. Definitely not an alpha state. Definitely not a stream of thought state. Anxious. Stress. You guys got this. All of these are alpha blockers. Every last one of them. Good job. Good. So we meet somebody in a negative energy, a poor vibration. You can always sum it up by saying they're blocking, they're in beta state. And they're going to be. Because when you have that, think about it this way. Do you really need to be pondering the universe and the amazing creative ideas that are there to solve a problem in your business if you're being chased by a pack of hungry wolves? No. Stress, anger, worry. These are all survival mechanisms. Their entire purpose is to strip the blood from the creative parts of your brain to refocus them to your eyes, to your nose, to your ears, to be in survival, to run, to fight, to get away, to do something that changes the current and very present situation. That's beta. Versus alpha. Stream of thinking. You're not in stream of thinking when you're being chased by a tiger. That can be your job sometimes. Absolutely. In fact, that's what jobs are. Jobs are very much so beta on purpose, especially in the United States, where we don't take siestas halfway through the day. Your job is absolutely beta. There is no sometimes. That is a truth. That is exactly what it is, which is why I talk to you as business owners and not as employees. Because as a business owner, you're going to have times of beta. It's required to actually be successful. It's functional. It's doing something. I'm saying that you are going to rob yourself of success if you don't take your alpha time. How long should you spend in an alpha state? Great question. Depends on the person. Usually I ask people to start off with 20 minutes every day. That's usually where I start people at. Now, many people who are in complete survival mode just went, I don't have 5 minutes to rub together. What do you mean 20? And whether that's your lunch break where you sit down, you shove your food down and you relax, you take a nap, you go for a walk, it's a matter of finding the time because we are intentional with what is important to us. And that's really how you find it.
I love what you say about being intentional about what's important to us. Because really, when something is important to every one of us, we make the time to do it. And I just want to share. I want to share a little of my strategy with the team before we end the webinar that you taught me. And the first one is the first 20 minutes of when I open my eyes in the morning. That's my first alpha intentional time. And what I do is I actually get a piece of paper and I just write out thoughts that are coming to my head. Brian can expand on this maybe on another webinar, but for 20 minutes, I'm literally writing everything that just comes to my mind. If it's an idea, or if it's just I'm upset, or if I'm scared, or if I'm happy, or whatever's on my mind when I wake up, I spend 20 minutes writing that out. And so that's my first alpha strategy. Then I get up, I get ready, whatever. Then the second thing Brian told me or taught me was to do power naps. Lillian, that's exactly right. 20-minute power nap in the afternoon gives me a second morning. And that's what Brian taught me. So around 3 o'clock is kind of like my afternoon time. Sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's later, but I've been making intentional effort to like get away from my phone for 20 minutes and just lay down I do set a timer. Because after 20 minutes, I get back up. And Brian told me that falling asleep is the best because then you get the best alpha waves and whatever. And then after those 20, if I can fall asleep, great. If I can't, that's okay too. But at least I made the effort. And then I go back into my beta and stuff. And then the last thing that Brian taught me was at night, I need to find a time to actually get away from my phone and not look at it again. And so I actually finish all my business, all my computer stuff. I leave my phone in a whole different room. And then I bought an iPod Shuffle, literally one of those old school iPods that I don't even know if they make them anymore. And I listen to music while I brush my teeth and get ready for bed. I'm going to probably have to buy a little backup phone or something because I don't want to look at my phone. And I want to have an emergency line if my family needs to call me. But that way I can get away from my main cell phone from my business stuff. So the nighttime's been the more challenging one, but boy, when I've been successful at it, it's really helped. So currently I am doing 20 minutes in the morning. I'm trying to get that power nap. I don't always do it, but 20 minutes in the afternoon with the power nap, and then 20 minutes at night unplugging from the phone and computer screens while I'm brushing my teeth and going to bed. Brian also taught me that it's okay to read a book as long as I'm not in front of a screen. So, the people who have their books on their iPads, you're in beta. But if you're reading a book that's, just a paperback, you're in alpha. Is that right, Brian?
You're more towards an alpha state. It's that blue light that wakes your brain up very, very quickly, very, very abruptly. It actually makes your brain think it's daytime and you need to be active. And so it tries to shove more of those sodium potassium ions to keep you there.
Awesome. Okay. Gotcha. Well, thank you, Brian. I just wanted to share my routine because you helped me make that routine. And I just want to encourage everyone to really getting in alpha intentionally. And if you do something like power naps, or you like to go salsa dancing, or you like to work out and that gets you into alpha, man, then keep doing it. Do you have any final advice, words of advice for everyone, Brian?
I'm going to leave you with my definition of patience because I get the impression that there's somebody on here who might need it. Now, too many times we think of patience as just, not really having to care or being able to take our mind off or suffering without reason. It's a real simple thing for you. And again, I like functional. If we go right back to it. If I have 15 women in a room and one of them is pregnant, how many months will it take for that woman to have a baby?
9 months.
Doesn't matter how many people I throw at it, right? Doesn't matter how many great minds I put at it. Doesn't matter any other thing. It's going to take 9 months. Even under the most ideal, amazing, nutritional, environmental circumstances, 9 months is what it's going to take. This is what patience is. Patience is knowing that there is absolutely a time frame that must complete itself, and there's nothing we can do about it. But does that mean that you sit around and wait for it? No. During that 9 months, you're building the nursery, you're buying diapers, you're buying the formula already, you're getting the baby clothes all together, you're doing things intentionally and productively prior to the completion of that time. That is what patience truly is. Patience isn't sitting there waiting for something to happen or even hoping it is. It's knowing for a fact it will, and it has to take that time to do it. Now, for those of you who are building businesses, there is no such thing as an overnight business. It doesn't exist. Those that are built very quickly also die extremely quickly. We call those pump and dumps. All of you, I have the feeling, want to create what's called a legacy business, a business that outlives you, and that takes time. So right now, between now and the point where you have decided that that is a successful benchmark, there's time between now and then. Can you speed it up? Absolutely. You can create the ideal environment. And even with that ideal environment, it's going to take time and effort. And it's going to take dedication. Every business that exists on this planet has taken time, dedication, effort over a length of time. Do I have a diamond director on this call? I sincerely know I do. My entire purpose is to help shorten the arc between now and the time that they hit executive diamond. That is my purpose. It's what I do for a living. Between now and then, though, what you have to do is you must be consistent. The less consistent you are, the longer that time frame becomes. Because patience tells us, the more consistent you are, the shorter that time will be. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time tonight.
Wow, that was phenomenal. Thank you so much, Brian. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Glad that you were here.
Everyone stay on the line. Just 1 second for some final announcements. Okay, guys. So before you all get off the webinar, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Okay, so 2017, we have USANA University coming out October 28th in San Antonio. Oh my gosh. Now, not just San Antonio, not all of you are in our lovely city, but Los Angeles, October 21st, Chicago, October 7th, and this Saturday in Washington, D.C., September 30th. I know Becky Armstrong and Christian Glad are going to be there in Washington, D.C. So USANA University is your chance to take your branding, your storytelling, your social selling to the next level. Brion Armstrong, who you just heard from, is directly responsible for making these things happen for you and your business. It's a very minimal investment. I think it's $35 to get your ticket in advance. So please take advantage of one of these dates, get to the city that's nearest you, or come have a road trip and come hang out with us in San Antonio, whatever you want to do. We're excited for these events, and this is the next most important thing for your business. Also, GoPro, if you want to come with us to Vegas, please let me know. Payment plans are available. November 16th through the 18th, we're going to be there. And then when we get to 2018, we got Challenge U in Salt Lake City, January 25th through the 27th. Go ahead and mark your calendar right now. And if you're in San Antonio, it's going to be February 8th through the 10th. Go ahead and mark your calendar right now. Or if you don't live in either of these cities, then choose the one you want to go to, because this event is the most important event to start off the new year right. And then, ladies, the Sweet Retreat is on February 1st through the 3rd in Costa Mesa, California. So I know Crystal and the team are making big plans. Please let everybody know. I know my mom will be there as well. And Megan Martinez, everybody who's planning this, please let us know if you want to be at this. I wish I could go, but I'm not a woman, but I'm jealous because you ladies get the best training here at the Sweet Retreat.
No boys allowed.
No boys allowed. Thanks, babe. U.S. dates for the national celebration are going to be announced soon. Keep your eyes out for those. And then please mark your calendar for August 15th through the 18th International Convention. Obviously, this is the most important event of the year. Mark your calendar. You have till this Friday to get the ticket at $249. Otherwise, it goes up to $279. And this is the most important event because you get the vision, the full vision of what USANA offers. You meet people from all the 20 different markets, the 20 different countries. Tens of thousands of people go to convention. Texas Associates, this Saturday we have Dr. Ladd McNamara in the house. Oh my gosh, in San Antonio, what a huge opportunity to hear from a doctor who has helped tens of thousands of people. The tickets are $15 per person online. They actually took down the registration. Actually, it might be up. I don't know. Last time I checked, it was up, but they're going to be taking it down. So if you haven't gotten your $15 ticket yet, it's probably the event's going to sell out. It's $20 at the per person at the door. If where did I cut out? Oh my gosh, where did I cut out? If so, I cut out at Dr. Ladd. Okay, not too far, not too bad. Okay, I don't know why I cut out, guys. I apologize. Let me just finish here with the Dr. Ladd. So Dr. Ladd in San Antonio. Dr. Ladd's going to be in San Antonio this Saturday, September 30th. If you're in the area, this event's going to be huge for your guests. Guests need a ticket as well. $15 per person online. That I think you can actually still buy your ticket online. But if you don't get it by tonight, it's probably going to be $20 at the door if they're still available. And then Dr. Ladd has a website that's also very good, drladdvip.com, et cetera, for those of you not in town. And then lastly, this is just pictures of the bins that I keep in the trunk of my car. I always have GoPro, books, audios, USANA newspapers. I just want to encourage you to be a professional. You know, don't rely on your upline to bring their computer or to have their copies. You be that leader. You have your computer. You have copies. Also, don't rely on your upline to do home events for you. You be the leader. You host home events. You get people there and do the event with or without your upline, because ultimately you are the owner of your business and your upline is there to support you. But I want to encourage you to be that leader, to be the one who takes the independent action and creates change in your communities. I know all of you are. That's why you're on this webinar. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And let's go ahead and unmute the lines and everyone say, have an awesome good night and God bless. Hold on. Let me unmute the lines. Oh, I can't. My dad can. Well, how about everybody just do it in the chat?
Have an awesome night and God bless.
Or unmute yourselves. Yeah, that's great. You can unmute yourself. Have an awesome night and God bless.
It's 36.
Have an awesome
Good night and God
everyone.
bless.
God bless.
Have an awesome night and God bless. Thank you, Brion Armstrong.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night. God bless. Excellent meeting. Thank you.